What is love? Is it just a feeling of butterflies in the stomach? Are there different types of love? Well, today we're going to find out. Happy New Year, Happy Black History Month, and Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Ace, and this is Cross Culture. Today we're talking about love, specifically Valentine's Day, which is probably the most widely accepted institution of love in the United States. But Global Love Day isn't until May. It's terribly ironic to me. But the question comes up, what is love? People write songs about love all the time, and it seems that there's a few different types. I mean, just look at Grenade by Bruno Mars. He's talking about literally jumping on a grenade for the person that he loves. What about Dance with My Father by Luther Vandross? That's seen as a very just close type of love, but they're not the same. The first type of love seems a little bit more romantic. Hey, I will do anything for you. But the second one, while still about love, talks about more, I imagine it with my daughter, her dancing on my feet, something like that. And it's not to say that these two different types of love, one is right and one is wrong, but maybe there are just different types of love. For some of these things, English just isn't the right language to go into. It seems that a lot of things taken from other languages just get boiled down into one word. In this instance, we're talking about love. In the Greek, there are actually 7 different words for love. And it's something that we, in English, we just say, oh, well, that's the love between this type of person and that type of person. Or this is the love between a mother and a child. This is the love between so many different people and yourself. Or this is the type of love that calls you to action. But in Greek, those are 7 different words completely. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at these 7 different words. I'm just going to go over a quick definition of them. I don't want to bore anybody or keep anybody from their Valentine's Day festivities. But what we have for the first is agape. And this is probably the most well-known type of love by name. So the agape love is that love of community. It kind of calls you to action. It makes you want to do for your community. It's also seen as the I would die for you type of love. So Bruno Mars kind of has with his song Grenade, he kind of capitalizes on that. I would die for you. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for you. Like I said before, this is also a community type of love. This isn't just, oh, I love myself, I would die for myself. This is, I would die for someone other than myself. I would die to make sure that the community goes on. The second type of love that we have is Storge. And Storge is that love of that familial type of love, the love between a father and a son, or family, or even those close friends that you call family. This is that love that's very pure, very undying, and seen as the force that kind of knits and glues people together in very close contact. The third type, so we have Agape, Storge, and now we have Phila, which is where we get Philadelphia. Philadelphia, which is the city of brotherly love. Phila is brotherly love. And it's more so a love between like teammates or people that have something in common with each other, who may not have grown up with each other. They may not have a very close family bond, but these people come together as a team and they see each other as equals, and it's kind of a bonding experience that they have, and they have love for each other. So the fourth different type of love is Eros, and this is a romantic type of love. This is where we get the word erotic. It's more so just, like I said, a romantic type of love, a love that it shouldn't be shied away from, but at the very same time, be careful who you give your heart to, because you don't want the right person to come along and you have already given your heart away so many times that you're broken. That's kind of a little side note, but definitely love is one of the things that makes you vulnerable. No matter what type of love it is, it makes you vulnerable. You kind of put yourself out there a little bit, and you don't want to enter into any of these different types of love blindly. You want to make sure that the people that you love are going to love you back. So one of the new types of love to me, these next three were actually new to me completely. Ludus, which is Ludus. It's a playful type of love. So when I heard this, I thought of maybe like kids on a playground, running around, chasing around. When I was younger, kids used to like get married in like second grade. So it's kind of seen as that, happy-go-lucky, frolicking along in the through the flowers type of love. The next one we have is pragma. So now we're up to 6 different types. And this is a love that endures, a love that stays. Kind of the act of being there. I know that when loved ones pass away, it's very common to want to hurry the person through the grieving process, when in actuality, pragma, this type of love, just being there, not saying anything. Maybe if a need arises, hey, I can help with that. But other than that, just being there. A love that endures. Not always happy-go-lucky like Ludus, but just being there. A love that's constant. And this is the last type of love, which I feel like should be capitalized upon, especially now that we're in this whole pandemic thing and we have so much time. While family is important, while your romantic life is important, philauto is the love of self. Philautio is the love of self. And this is that pure self-love. Just, I love myself enough to take care of myself. And now that we have the time and the resources are kind of abounding around us, I would urge everybody out there to find something that makes them happy, find something that helps them to pass the time of, lockdowns and quarantines, and kind of go full into it. If it's something like creating content on YouTube, or if it's just coloring, painting, looking up different types of wines, if that's your thing. Just finding something that is going to help add knowledge and or value to yourself, for you to say, I have accomplished, or I have read, or I have done this in the time that I had. It may be one of the best things that we can do. Now, as I said, I alluded to before, there's not just one type of love that's the best. It's not to say like philautio is the only type of love that you need. Look out for number one. But I see it as all of these different types of love should be found in one person. We should endeavor to have these different types of love. We should try to make sure that we're not just focusing on one different aspect. They say that too much of a good thing is still too much. There's a need for balance in life. Not just any one thing the most, but temperance in all things. So we have kind of this definition of love. And love is a shaky thing. As I said before, most people think that it's, the feeling of butterflies in your stomach. And while that's a symptom of one type of love, or can be a symptom of one type of love, we don't want to say that that's love. We don't want to just equate it to a feeling, because feelings can sometimes lead us astray. We don't want to say that it's something that you go with your gut, because what you see as right and how you seek to love somebody else or show your love, it may not be the same for another person. It may not be how they wish to receive love. Shameless plug, if you haven't read The 5 Love Languages, it's a beautiful, beautiful book. I would recommend looking over it, because it talks about love languages, how we show love and how we expect love to be shown to us can be two completely different things. And it kind of goes to that philautio, exploring yourself, knowing yourself. I love myself enough to look into myself. And going forward, you will know and recognize these love languages in people in your life, to where you can say, oh, well, I see that my daughter loves when I give her hugs and kisses. She absolutely adores it. And she loves when I give her attention, just one-on-one time. She loves it. And she shows love to me by leaving little gifts. So it would be something like a small envelope that she writes in marker over, and she'll put it on my desk. And I know that that's her way of showing love. When we recognize these things in ourselves and other people, it starts to break down those oddities of communication, to where you may think that somebody doesn't love you just because they're not showing you love in the way that you feel it needs to be shown. But it may be the only love language that they're fluent in. And just like picking up actual second language, sometimes we need to become fluent in another love language, because the love language we're speaking isn't being understood by the people we're speaking it to. Now, there's a chapter in the Bible that's been used probably far longer than I've been alive, I'm pretty sure, at weddings. One of the biggest love celebrations that you can go to or be a part of, and that's 1 Corinthians 13. And I don't want to quote the whole thing. I have my Bible open right in front of me. I don't want to read the whole thing, but I do want to read a couple verses. And I see the Bible as my moral compass. I see the Bible as a fount of knowledge, something I can go to where it's the standard of my life and my lifestyle. Not to say that I live up to it perfectly 100% of the time, but I know that when something goes wrong in my life, I can go to the Bible. It is not to say that I just read the Bible. I do read things other than the Bible, but this is kind of my go-to. So we're going to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 and 5. Nope, sorry. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And just a little bit of 8. And it reads, "Love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, it is not boastful, is not conceited, does not act improperly, is not selfish, is not provoked, does not keep record of wrongs, finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends." Now, the thing about love is that so many people see it as a feeling that if it doesn't feel right, we shy away from it. And that's not to say that all feelings are bad, but when we equivocate love with a feeling, then we may miss out on love, whatever aspect of love it is. Sometimes as a parent, I have to do things that my daughter does not like, and I can see it in her that she just does not like it. I've had to say things to my wife that are true, and she in the moment does not like it. But if we equate it with a feeling, then by all accounts, I should feel that my wife and my daughter do not love me, which I don't. I know that sometimes things are rocky. That's what happens. With love, in my opinion and what I've read and researched, it's more of an attribute in your character. It's not to say, oh, you are a loving person and I have butterflies in my stomach. No, if you see someone demonstrating love, then you call them a loving person. Regardless of how you feel, you may not like somebody, but you can still love them. So the thing about love is that it's something you do. It's a verb. It's not just a feeling, and you're not always going to receive love. But as it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, in the beginning of verse 8, love never ends. it's a cycle. As long as you're giving love, you will receive it back. So today, as most of the world is celebrating a day of romantic love, maybe you want to call somebody up, just say, hey, I love and appreciate you. Maybe you want to reach out to somebody who you haven't in a long time and just say, are you feeling love today? Because no matter if you're dating, married, have 30 kids, or you're single, the world needs love. So that's my challenge to you. Just express love to someone. Until next time, stay prayed up and be blessed.